What's up, guys? How are you all doing? Hey, welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the new Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, and what we're going to be doing with it is we're going to be building our very own network attached storage, or NAS. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using wonderful Open Media Vault, and we'll be configuring that all. If that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, stay tuned because it's coming up right here, right now on misperry. Alright guys, so as the intro stated, we're going to be building our very own NAS using the Raspberry Pi 3 Model B Plus. I've got my hands on one of these very quickly because they were going like hotcakes when they first came out on Pi Day actually. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be checking out some of the specs on this thing. This thing is fairly beefy. Let me zoom in a little bit for y'all. Alright, so it is now using the Broadcom BCM 2837B0. It's an ARM Cortex. Now, the cool part about this guy is 64-bit. That's right, 1.4 gigahertz and 64-bit. I'm going to try to see if I can't maybe build maybe a PlayStation 2 emulator out of it or something like that, because you need 64-bit to do that. So maybe do something out of that. But first off, we're going to do a NAS. That's what this video is going to be for. We got, let's see what else we got. We got some USB ports. That seems to be normal. Looks like we got the Bluetooth 4.2 BLE module. That's nice. It also will support for wireless the BGN and the AC one, so 2.4 gigahertz, and it will also do 5 gigahertz. I think that's a new thing. So that's with the new card. In fact, they show that off right there. That's that little Raspberry Pi stamp that they put into the shielding. Also, it has better thermal management on the main ARM processor that's in it. So they've got this aluminum case on top of it to help with spreading the heat and giving it a little better thermal management. So excited to mess with that. So I thought creating our very own NAS would be something to put it to the test, because it's going to require some pretty good horsepower to make it work. So to do that, we're going to be using Open Media Vault. So without any further ado, let's get into how we put this thing together. So first off, I showed you guys, or at least I can show you guys real quick, the setup over on the bench. So let's go do that real quick. Okay, so not too big of a deal. Had 3D printed a top and a bottom to it. Put the Raspberry Pi on top, and then just connected two Western Digital MyBook 4 terabyte hard drives to it via USB, as you can see there on the top, and then just simply plugged in the power cord. So nothing real to it. I'll show you another shot. Here's from another angle. Like I said, those top and bottom are 3D printed. Links are in the description. Okay, so that was the setup on the bench. So we've got the two 4 terabyte hard drives, we've got the Raspberry Pi, and it's all put together. So now that we got that all in, and like I said, I definitely recommend the hard drives that have an external power supply, because it's too much power to run spindle drives, definitely, off of the USB, because the Pi cannot provide all that power. So if you're going to run multiple drives, get the ones that have external power supply. That way the Pi is just supplying the data. So we're going to go to Open Media Vault. You're going to go to Download, and what you want is the ISO. So we click there. I'll put links down in the description as well. And you want the Raspberry Pi images. All right, so that's what we want. Once you get in here, you're going to download this. Now, follow these instructions. I did go ahead and download the flashing guy that they etcher. Yeah, etcher is what they say, because they tell you do not decompress it. I mean, you can decompress it and it creates an ISO, but I think it causes problems. I had some issues with it. So use this etcher thing. So that's what I did. I'm not going to show that because I gotta pull up, the VM and everything. But if you just go there, it's very simple. You just choose the files, just like Win32 Disk Imager. You choose the tar file here that you download, this guy, and then you just tell it what drive to put it to, and then it just does it. Now, once you get it basically powered up, which we've got ours all powered up and ready to go, you will have to find the IP address. It automatically will pull. You have to plug it in wired. That's what I did. I do not have it, as you can see in the setup, I had it plugged in wired, and that's so that it can grab an IP address. So you need to look in your clients list. I have an ASUS router, so you just look in the view clients list, and we should be able to see it. See if I can find it. The problem is I have a few of these. Let's do by interface. That's one cool thing about it. So that way we're looking at these. There it is, 109. So it'll show up as Raspberry Pi, but this is definitely the one because it's DHCP, and so it's 109. So you can log into it either using the command line interface, or you can use the web browser, which is what we're going to do. So we're going to go 192.168.1.109, and we should get the login page unless I type that wrong. Okay, so now we get that loaded. We're going to go to our admin, and then we're going to type in Open Media Vault as the password, and that should be the default password. So first things we need to do is we need to set up some information. Like I'm going to take it off of being DHCP and give it a static IP, as well as give it a password that I want. So we're going to go to General Settings. We're going to go, we want to enable SSH, SSL, TL, secure connection, all that stuff. Oh, wait, no, not there. We'll enable SSH here in a minute because we want to be able to SSH to it. We want to go to Web Administrators, Password. So we type in the new password. Okay, and then I'm going to save it. And then that's good to go there. Let's see, General Settings, Network. So here's our network stuff. So we've got our interfaces. There's my ETH0. It's done by DHCP. We're going to redo that here in a minute. Let me see. There was under SSH down here. We want to make sure SSH is enabled. And if it's not, we want to enable it so that way we can, open up shells and stuff to it. So SSH is enabled. So that's good. So we want to go to the network. We want to go over here to interfaces, and we want to edit this interface. And I am going to give it a static IP address. I'm going to give it 31, sure, 255.255.255.0, and my gateway is .1. So we'll save all that. I believe that that's pretty much it. Oh, DNS servers. All right, I can do that. Because you can download packages and stuff with this. So a good way to get the DNS servers, those of you that don't know, is you can do an ipconfig-all in your Windows environment and look at your DNS servers. So there we go, and we'll save all of that, which once that is applied, I'm going to apply it. Yes, I want to apply it. It will take it a minute, and then of course we'll have to change up the IP address that I'm going to up top here. And it should let me in. All right, so there we go. So there's how we set up our static IP. So the next thing we need to do is go ahead and build the RAID system. Now, first thing that you have to do, if they are brand new hard drives, let's grab some putty action going on here. All right, so I'm going to log in as root and put in my root password. The normal root password is Open Media Vault. Hopefully. No. Okay, so in order to get us to log in as root, we have to go down here to SSH, and we have to say allow root login. Save that. There we go. So now we should be able to grab our putty. Oh yeah, we have to apply it. Yes, apply the configuration. And then we should be able to grab putty. And there we are. So we have to format the hard drive since they're brand new. So it should come with the formatting that I'm going to use, which is going to be GDisk is what it's going to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a mkfs for make file system .extended 4, and it needs to be extended 4 because of the 4 terabyte CD to the dev directory. Okay, this is just Linux 101. And you do an ls-l, ls-l for SD star. It'll show you any disk drives that you have. So when you plug them in, they will be basically done as SDA and SDB, okay, is what they will show up as in your device's directory, okay? So keep that in mind. So we need to format both of them. So we're going to do a make file system .extended 4 dev SDA 1 because it only has one partition. Okay, so that's the partition. Okay, so in Linux it labels the disks A, B, C, D, whatever, you know, but then it'll put numbers next to them if you have multiple partitions on it. Well, since there's only one partition on this, it's going to be SDA 1. Okay, so single partition, and then we want to do the -L for labeling, and like mine, I labeled it media vault underscore SDA 1. Now, I've already formatted mine, so I'm not gonna, well, I could go ahead and do it. Oh, I didn't put the 4, extended 4. There we go, boom. Oh yeah, and it's because I didn't. Yeah, it's because I had to do another thing that wipes out. But anyway, you need to format it. I'll tell you what I was doing here in a minute. You have to format that first because it does have one partition on it, and it is built for extended FAT, which it doesn't work right. So you need to do the extended for. So do that to both of them. SDB1, SDA1. Like if you're doing it like me, if you have the exact same setup as me, it'll be like this. So once you get that done, that should format everything. So at least the file system will be formatted for extended for. Now what we need to do is we need to make sure that we are able to mount it up. So if you want to, you can create a directory and mount it. You don't have to. No big deal. So what I'm going to show you is there's another step you'll have to do, but I'm going to show you why. If we come back to our Open Media Vault and we hit RAID Management, okay, so this is where we'll create our RAID volume. I'm just going to do a RAID mirror because I have 2 hard drives. I'm just going to RAID mirror them so that way if one fails, the other one still has it. So we're going to do create. Now, sometimes this won't show up. In fact, actually, originally, they won't show up. You'll have 0 stuff in here. To fix that, what the problem is it's the MBR and some of the other primary sector formatting, okay, of the disk needs to be wiped out, okay? So what you do to do that is you need to wipe basically the first megabyte of the disk. So we're going to do the command dd, which is direct disk, okay? Input file system equals dev 0. It's going to write zeros to the first megabyte. You'll see here in a minute. So so that way it wipes out any data that's there. So output file system equals dev SDA, okay, which is our first, at least our first disk. So SDA. And then what we want to do is we want the bit size to be 512 bytes, and we want the count to equal 2048. Okay, so we're going to do this to both. I would run this command, and then all I do is bring this command up again, change it to SDB, run it again. That will clear that out, and then once that's done, you should see it show up in this arrangement here. Now, before we create the RAID volume, there is one more thing that we have to do. We want to increase the speed limit of the resynchronization, because when it synchronizes the disk, it can take quite a bit of time. So we want to increase that because the default is pretty slow. So what we need to do is we need to cd to the proc sys dev raid folder. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set, there should be there's a minimum and a maximum speed limit, okay? And the easiest way to write to these, because they're in use the minute the system boots, they're in use, so you can't just open them up with VI and change them, but you can cheat. What you can do is, normally, if I cat those, speed limit max, it's about, the maximum is pretty good. It's 200,000, okay? So it's 200,000. So it's like 200 megabyte is the maximum speed, because it's all done in kilobytes. But the minimum, if I do the min, is fairly wimpy. It's only 1,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to bump that up. So we're going to say echo 50,000. We're going to redirect that to speed limit minimum. Okay. So now if we cat that minimum, now it's up to 50,000. Okay, so that way it doesn't take forever to build the RAID volume. So now that we've done that, I'm just going to leave that off to the side here. Now it's time to build the RAID volume. So we're going to hit create. I'm just going to call this Media Vault is just what I'm going to call it. I'm going to select both disks, and then we choose what RAID type we're doing. I'm just doing a mirror. Like I said, I'm just cloning them across each other, and that's all there is to it. You say create, say yes, it should save it, and then it should resync it. It even tells you don't do the file system until it's resynced. We're going to apply these changes, yes. And then it's going to take quite a while. This will probably go up as it starts doing its syncing. The speed will increase, but basically, yeah, that's what it's going to do. Looks like that it's definitely going to take some time. So we'll wait a little bit for this as it'll ramp up, and then we'll come back and do the file system. Okay, guys, so I've gone ahead and got this all finished up. It has been a few days, actually, because it took forever. The reason it took so long is because of the USB connection. I totally forgot about that. I was like, well, this thing should go so much faster. USB. USB can only go about 20 megabits per second or something like USB 2.0, and I don't think they didn't put USB 3 or whatever on the new Raspberry Pi. So it took it a while, but if I go over here to RAID management, I see that it is now clean. The volume is built. So now the next thing we probably need to do is create our file system. So having not done this yet, we will see. Hopefully this video doesn't get really long. But it looks like it says that it's not mounted, so I think I have to mount it. So I'm going to choose to mount it here. Failed to execute command. Blah. Okay, guys, so I think I figured out what the problem was. It's for some reason the formatting of the making the file system while it was doing the sync, I guess didn't really work right, was what the deal was. So basically what I had to do was recreate the partition on it. It basically is should be more or less, after it gets done syncing, is a blank RAID volume, and so you just have to put the file system on. Even though that was misleading, it said extended 4 on the file system, so I was thinking that it already had it on it, but that was the problem. Easy enough to fix. SSH to it, just like this. You're going to run this command. If those of you that can't maybe see it, just because I didn't want to have to resize the terminal, it's MKFS, so Mike Kappa Foxtrot Sierra, dot extended4, ext4, space, and then /dev/md0, which md0, that's the actual device, md0 right here. So once you do that, it goes through this blab right here and rebuilds the file system. You'll see it go away from this list under file systems here. You'll see it go away. All you gotta do is just click the file system again, and it'll refresh. And then what I did then was I didn't click mount here. What I did was in the terminal, I just did a mount-a, which mounts everything that's in the fs tab file. And if you check out, if you vi your go to /etc/fs tab for file system tabular, and you should see the tab entry, the table entry for the Open Media Vault that's in there. It has a comment and everything of where it is. That's so when you reboot your system, it'll still mount the RAID volume back up, and things will basically resume. So anyway, if you do not do this, if you do not create the file system and actually get it squared away where when you mount everything it comes up, then when you reboot it won't recognize the file system, and it will actually not recognize the RAID, which is a real pain because I've done it like 3 or 4 times now, and you have to resync, and for me it takes me, for 4 terabytes, took me like 3 days. So it took all in all like 9 days because I kept messing it up. So note, now we can create some shared folders. So what we're going to do is I'm going to see if I can't select a device. It's not giving me a device to select. Okay, guys, back. So what I had to do, which was excuse me, which is a little bit bizarre, is since I mounted it through the command line, Open Media Vault did not like it. So basically what I had to do is I had to, if you do a df-h for human readable, you can see where it's mounted. This is mounted in the /srv folder. So all I did was a umount on srv/dev, and then that huge long name that it gives it, and just unmounted it through the command line. Then what that did was then that basically unmounted it in Open Media Vault, and all I did was just click back on it and click this button here that says mount, and then it mounted it back. So basically don't mount it through the command line. Mount it through the little web interface here. I can come over here to shared folders now, hit add, and then select device, and it comes up. It's the only one there. So dev/md0, 3.8 terabytes available. Is we're going to look and see if there might be some sort of share of some sort. Privileges. I think the privileges are fine. Yeah, me, read, write. Oh, maybe that's what it is. So there's ACLs, but then there's also privileges. Maybe that was the problem. Let's give that a shot again, shall we? Actually, I'm not going to even map it. I'm just going to navigate to it here. So see if it'll at least ask me for permission. Perhaps not. Oh, wait, no. Here we go. SMB. That's usually for Samba. Aha. Here we go. Workgroup general settings, blah, blah, blah. Home directory and wins and all that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So enable that. Let's enable that. Allow servers to become local. Okay. There we go. So that'll set it up as using Samba, which Samba is a kind of Windows-like Windows sharing type thing that's built for Linux. So I'm going to turn that on. Work group can be work group. That's fine. Description is %h server. The NT description field. Yeah, that's if you're doing work group related crap. All right, so let's try it now that we've enabled that. Nope. Okay, guys, I feel like a complete moron. But up here at the top, there's a tab. It says shares. You have to add the folder that you're sharing. So haha. So media files, that's going to be it. Set read only, set browsable, that's fine. Comment public. Well, what does that mean? Wow, there's a lot of stuff. I'm just going to go with the basic goop. So there we go. Public, read only, no. Browsable, yes. Okay, theoretically now. And now that we said, oh wait, we got to apply the configuration. Once that gets done going. Well, there we are. All right, right on. So theoretically, since it's browsable, I got a thing that's asking me for credentials. This is looking promising. Oh, there it is. Ha ha! Hot dog. All right, guys. So that is how you set up your very own NAS. And see, like if I wanted to, I could instead of browsing to it, I know I can do it now. I can map a network drive, and then every time my computer boots, it will log into it. So, and there it is, media files, and there it is. And now it's a drive that is terabytes in size. So there you go. Hey guys, I wanted to show you guys one last caveat that I found. I noticed that once I rebooted the Raspberry Pi, it actually came back and the RAID volume was gone. Now, I did a little bit of research, and what I found is that what happens is the Raspberry Pi, believe it or not, boots too fast for the external hard drives. Since they're spindle drives and they're external and USB and all that jazz, it actually boots up and searches for RAID volumes faster than the drives can actually spin up and become available. No problem. We just have to put a little bit of delay in the boot sequence. To do this, we're going to CD to our boot directory. Now, there'll be some text files in here. The one that we're looking for is the cmdline.txt file, okay? And all you have to do is to the end of this, right before this quiet, you're going to add this right here that says root delay equals 5. That adds about 5 seconds of delay before it loads, I believe, the root file system. So that way it gives it time for the USB drives to actually spin up, become available, and get noticed before it boots the root file system and actually boots the operating system. So all I did was add that and just do a right quit on this and then restart your Pi, and your RAID volume should show up. So last little caveat. So guys, thank you for bearing with me as I fumbled through this. Hopefully you guys liked the content. Hopefully you liked me bumbling along through it. So that way you can see different errors and things that you come up against. I know a lot of you have said that you like seeing me run into problems and whatnot. So I try to do these kind of live without actually doing it beforehand. Some stuff I prepare, but some stuff I do like this. So that way you guys can see different things that you might run into. That way when you run into it, it's right here in the video. All right, guys, this has gone on long enough, but I hope you enjoyed the Open Media Vault NAS using a Raspberry Pi, brand new 3B Plus as our head-end unit, as well as putting together a 4 terabyte RAID 1 mirror. I'll probably maybe release other videos on this doing the performance of it so far as file transfers and things like that, because I'd love to see how efficient it really is. Now, you're probably not going to get much more than 20 megabytes or megabits per second, just because of the fact of it is limited by the USB. I would love to see some sort of a hat or some sort of expanded, and I think there is, and I may demo it, that for the Raspberry Pi that enables it to have SATA, which would speed up that connection quite a bit, so where you could connect the hard drives directly. So anyway, cool stuff on the horizon. Thanks, guys. Give a thumbs up. Check out the link down below for the Google group. So that way, if you're have any questions or anything like that, we can kind of formulate our community. I've said this multiple times. So check out that link down there, as well as hit up some of those affiliate links down there. I've got all the supplies and stuff for this build down below, as well as some of the 3D model files and everything for it. So here's a shot of what it actually looks like once it's together and everything. I kind of thought it would look pretty cool. So anyway, guys, take care, and I will see you in the next video.